Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for clicking on my channel. I'm Danny. Hi, how are you? I hope you're well. So today's going to be a fun video. I have some books here it's a book haul, and these books happen to be on my current TBR right now. I want to read them as soon as I get done with the other. I did a video a while back, not too long ago, and it was books on my current TBR. I read two out of those books, and one of those books disappointed me mildly. The other I just finished and I thoroughly enjoyed. And the other two are romance books. And even though I said I'm not a mood reader, which I don't really think I am, romance right now, I'm not in the feel for. So I'm currently reading The Atlas 6. And that has just put me in a very studious mood. Like I feel like I'm back in boarding school and I'm like studying to be top of the class and I'm like going to be class president. So I'm in a very competitive mood. And yeah, all that being said, these are the books we have today, and I thought it would be fun to go through these books because why not, right? So number one on our list is Misery by Stephen King. So I'm a Stephen King fan. I I feel like I've watched a lot more of his videos and interviews than I've read his books. I've only read one book, The Outsider, and he has this very and this is a problem I have with authors in a good way. I really hate when I can relate to a villain or like a bad person. It really irks me badly. But so I read The Outsider. It was the first Stephen King book I read, and I'm hooked. I know I've read another, but it was a long time ago, and I don't think I can remember anything. So, you know, I think it'd be fun to see what these books are about now. Paul Sheldon. He's a best-selling novelist who has finally met his biggest fan. Her name is Annie Wilkes, and she's more than a rabid reader. She's Paul's nurse, tending his shattered body after an automobile accident. But she's also his captor, keeping him prisoner in her isolated house. Now, Annie wants Paul to write his greatest work just for her. She has a lot of ways to spur him on. On One is a needle, another is an axe, and if they don't work, she can get really nasty. My mind went somewhere else. But what this is really interesting, so I really got this book because the one person that I saw talk about it said it really represents how stan culture can be now, and I thought that was really interesting because I'm currently doing a study, not like an official study, but I'm studying stan culture and like the pop culture of it all, and it's really really interesting. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone is locked in the basement right now making like dance videos for one fan. Wouldn't that be fucking freaky? Wouldn't that be weird? Okay, next on our list we have Christine by Stephen King. This book looks so intimidating. Oh my god! And like it's just so you know. But so I think this was the book I did read when I was younger. I remember my cousins who were reading a lot of like Stephen King and B.C. Andrews. It's not like they recommended it to me because I was invincible, but like it was something they just said was really good. So I honestly think I remember reading this book. I don't know. It's love at first sight for high school student Arnie Cunningham when he and his best friend Dennis Gilda spot the dilapidated 1958 red and white 5-month Fury for sale, dubbed Christine by its original cantankerous owner, rusting away on a front lawn of the suburban Pennsylvania neighborhood. That was a mouthful. Dennis knows that Arnie's never had much luck in the popularity departments or really taken an interest in owning a car, but Christine quickly changes all that. Arnie suddenly has a newfound confidence to stick up for himself, going as far as dating the most beautiful girl at Libertyville High, transfer student Lee Cabot. Even as a mysteriously restored Christine systematically and terrifyingly consumes every aspect of Arnie's life. Dennis and Lee soon realize that they must uncover the awful truth behind a car with a horrifying and murderous history. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and heaven help anyone who gets in Christine's way. Vintage King, breathtaking, awesome. Okay, so what I remember from this book was like the car was basically jealous of the owner's relationship and was going on a killing spree or something. It was really, really weird. It was a lot more intimidating and interesting when I was younger. It is now, but now that I've read, I'm quite honestly know a lot more like I'm not really phased by a lot of things. So when I was younger, this kind of spooked me. Now it's like, interesting. So I will say reading it back now, or what I'm going to read it, I might not be as interested like when I was younger, but this is going to be fun. Also, it's so sturdy and it's kind of throwing me off, but like I'm still excited to read it. But it's what it is. Next on our list, we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I mean, come on, I'm late to the fucking party. Everyone has read this book. There's a movie or a series currently being made, and everyone talks about it. So the thing about me is and maybe it's just me trying to be the main character, or just how I've been since when I was younger. But I don't necessarily like to do everything everyone's doing or read what everyone's reading. However, part of me wants to know what the hype is about for a lot of things, right? So like when I started reading, you know, a lot more books, I had to go on the internet and kind of see what everyone was reading and talking about, and then I started reading until I kind of just swerved to my own way, and I'm reading things I just want to read and not really famous books. However, I'm still curious, so I have a lot of famous books that I want to check out, and this is one of them. And I actually know nothing about what this is about. Maybe it, like I had a very vague idea. Reclusive Hollywood icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant to write her story, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career, Monique listens in fascination. From making her way to Los Angeles in the 1950s to leaving show business in the 80s, and of course, the seven husbands along the way. Evelyn unspools a tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and a great forbidden love. But as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in tragic and irreversible ways. If Monique's her daughter, I'm going to fucking scream. Written with Reed's signature talent for creating complex, likable characters, this is a mesmerizing journey through the splendor of old Hollywood into the sobering realities of the present day as two women struggle with what it means and what it costs to face the truth. Okay. This is really interesting. I also really love the feel of this book. I don't know if you've read the book, you probably know, but it has a very matted and matchy kind of feel, which I really, really like. I'm still currently trying to decide how I like my books, right? Because I think I realized that like I enjoy hardcover a lot more, just because when I'm reading like a very uncomfortable situation, if I'm on a couch or at work, I just like to, it's a me thing. I don't know, but this is really cool. Like I like this cover. Also, I feel like I'm going to have. Oh wow, yeah, this is really cool. Okay, this actually just came in the mail today. Lessons in chemistry. So I actually ordered this book off Book Depository, which is closed, sadly enough, and then now I need to find a new place to get UK covered books because this cover is a lot better than the American cover, in my personal opinion. I'm going to show you guys what it look. Just look at this. I mean, come on. Oh, come on, come on. This is genius. So I actually showed my roommate this and he was like, I thought you weren't studying chemistry. It looks like a textbook, I'll be so honest. But I actually saw a trailer for this. I guess it's being made into a show on Apple TV with Brie Larson. And I've seen a couple people actually one person, the podcast I listened to, the one person on the podcast, she recommended this book, and I think I can trust her with a couple book recommendations because she has recommended some books that I have read and I really, really enjoyed. So this is going to be fun. But I have no idea what this is about. Okay. Chemist Elizabeth Zoth is not your average woman. In fact, Elizabeth Zoth would be the first to point out that there is no such thing. But it's the early 1960s, and her all-male team at Hastings Research Institute take a very unscientific view of equality, except for one, Calvin Evans, the lonely, brilliant, Nobel Prize-nominated grudge holder who falls in love with, of all things, her mind. True chemistry results. But like science, life is unpredictable, which is why, a few years later, Elizabeth finds herself not only a single mother, but the reluctant star of America's most beloved cooking show. Oh. Supper at 6. Elizabeth's unusual approach to cooking, combine 1 tablespoon acetic acid with a pinch of sodium chloride, proves revolutionary. But as her following grows, not everyone is happy. Because, as it turns out, Elizabeth isn't just teaching women to cook, she's daring them to change the status quo. Meet the unconventional, meet the unconventional, uncompromising Elizabeth Zott. You know what I love? I love when women stir the pot. I really enjoy when women just fuck shit up and just make men upset. So like anything, I'm down for that. Like anything that has women just making men mad and men just furious and fuming, I'm down and I will read that book. I'm sold. I'm really, really sold. All right. Next, we have yet again another intimidating book, Real by Kennedy Ryan. So I talked about her last book before I let go, sensational fucking book, and I got this book because I really do believe that this woman can do no wrong currently. Her writing is impeccable. She has a very interesting way of writing that makes you want to binge, which was how I finished the last book. So this is interesting. One moment in the spotlight. For months I stood by, an understudy, waiting in the wings, preparing for my time to shine. I never imagined he would watch on the other that night. Canon Holt, famous film director, fascinating, talented, fine. Before I could catch my breath, everything changed. I went from backstage Broadway to center stage Hollywood, from being unknown to my name, Neva Saint, on everyone's lips. That's a really cool name. Canon cast me in a star-studded Harlem Renaissance biopic, catapulting me into another stratosphere. But stars shine brightest in the dead of the night. Forbidden attraction, scandal, and circumstances beyond my control jeopardized my dream. Could this one shot, the role of a lifetime, the love of a lifetime, cost me everything? Okay, that sounds like a very typical, you know, you fall in love with your boss, but you have to choose your career over your boss type of thing, and then you realize that maybe the bosses that you fell in love with is a lot more, unique and interesting on the inside than your career. This is really cool. Okay, so this is a lot of pages, and I've already noticed that there are like a lot of like unique types of writing. So here I can see that there's like a certain form of script writing. If you can see that, you probably can't, and like a regular storytelling type of writing, and like the pages are okay. This is pretty cool. I will say full clarity that it doesn't excite me reading this. Like the synopsis doesn't really, rev me up, but there's probably a lot more to it. So our last book on this list, we have The Blood Gift. Let me say this. I'm going to say this one time. I read The Blood Trials, and that is the best fantasy book I think I've read in my entire life, except for Harry Potter. But that's a different story. But I read The Blood Trials 2 months ago, the same one that I read before I let go. You can imagine how my month went, and I love this book. I love this character. I love everything about this book. I cannot wait to read this book. I probably will read it after I'm done reading what I'm reading now. Um, Honestly, I don't even know why. I don't need to see what this is about, but the way the last book left off. Okay. After discovering the depth of betrayal, treachery, and violence perpetrated against her Marines Tribunal Council and exposing her illegal blood gift to save her Praetorian squad, Ikena becomes a fugitive with a colossal bounty on her head. Yet somehow, that's the least of her worries. Her grandfather's longtime allies refuse to offer help, and the Blood Emperor's warlord is tracking her. She's also struggling to control the enormous power she was granted by the goddess of blood rights, and to come to terms with the promises she made to get such power. Amidst all this, the Blood Emperor launches a full-scale invasion into Marine and leaves a trail of decimated cities, war crimes, and untold death in his wake. As the horrors increase, Ikena and her team realize they must assassinate the Blood Emperor and quickly end the war. But the price of doing so is steep and has planet-shattering consequences. The price of doing nothing, though, is annihilation. War has erupted, alliances are fracturing, and Ikena is torn between her loyalties, her desire for revenge, and the power threatening to consume her. With the world aflame, only one thing is certain: blood will be spilled. Yeah, I'm sold. I was sold anyway before I read this, but so I probably will talk about, the book before this in a different video, but for better context, just in case this sounded really interesting. So our main character, Ikena, was or is someone who is of a certain, blood gift, shall I say. And she wasn't supposed to have that gift because she was a soldier in training. And let's just say that while she's trying to find some things out about her, her lineage, her secret comes out and shit goes left. And the first book is so gory and just hooks you from the first chapter. It just really, like, you open the book, you read the first page, you go to the second page, and the book gives you a reason to stay. The book's like, yeah, don't bother wondering if you need to continue reading. You need to finish me. That's how that book was for me. It was really, really good, quite bingeable as well. But the second book, I'm really excited. I got it the moment it came out, and yeah. Okay, now I want to see the hierarchy of how I'm excited for these books. Let's see. Okay, let's see. It's in a certain order, but I am excited to read these four a lot more than I am the other two. So, Misery, Stephen King, 700 of Evelyn Hugo, Lessons in Chemistry, and Blood Gift. These I'm very excited for. Blood Gift by default because I read the first book, is amazing. The author is so good, and these other three I'm quite intrigued by the synopsis. They're pretty good, and I'm very interested in seeing what it's about and what they're about. But these are the two, Real and Christine. Um, I'm not so convinced. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those books that like don't give you so much in the what you call it, the synopsis, but then you read it and it's just something else and it's amazing. So that's what it might be. But just an initial read of the synopsis, I'm not so excited. I will still read them anyway because the authors are, they have the resume to back it up. So I don't really think I will be, you know, bored or whatever. But yeah, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This has been fun. I've enjoyed reading. So I told myself multiple times, I'm not gonna get more books. Let finish the books on my shelf. But here we are. I guess buying books and reading books are, two separate hobbies, like they say. I do have one more book I'm expecting from Book of the Month because I'm just trying to see how trusted their curated, playlist of books are, or however you might say it, or their shelves of books are. So I have one currently on, right behind me that I'm going to read soon, and then the other that I'm expecting. And yeah, that's it. That's the video. Thank you so much for watching. This has been really fun. I've been Dami. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, comment. If you think there's some books that you've read that are good or bad or terrible or fucking awful, let me know in the comments so I can save my time. But this, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye bye.